Severe congestive heart failure begins with starvation. When the arteries surrounding the heart become blocked, the heart muscle is deprived of the oxygen and blood it needs to survive. This diagram compares a healthy heart to a failing one. Without sufficient oxygen, the muscle weakens, and its ability to pump blood falls to 10 to 30% of its normal volume. The rest of the body feels the deficit immediately. With so little blood circulating, patients experience severe angina, breathlessness with minor movement, and constant palpitations. The heart fails in its role as a mechanical pump, leaving it unable to meet the basic physical demands of the body. When a patient arrives at a hospital in this condition, standard protocols typically point towards surgical intervention or the implantation of a pacemaker. A pacemaker is a tool for a specific problem. As seen in this diagram, it sends electrical impulses to the heart muscle to correct arrhythmias and maintain a steady, organized rhythm. But a steady rhythm is not a strong squeeze. The pacing corrects the electrical timing, yet the actual volume of blood being moved by the weakened muscle remains dangerously low. Controlling the tempo of a heartbeat manages a symptom of weakness, but it does not reverse the underlying muscular failure. Restoring the heart's intrinsic health and pumping power requires a therapy that addresses mechanical contractility directly. This is why doctors utilize enhanced external counterpulsation, or EECP. It is an FDA-approved, non-surgical medical treatment for congestive heart failure. The patient lies on a bed fitted with specialized pressure cuffs around the legs and pelvis. These cuffs inflate and deflate in synchronization with the heartbeat, squeezing firmly to push blood upward. This diagram shows the retrograde blood flow moving up from the extremities. This rush of blood arriving back at the heart increases myocardial contractility, forcing the heart muscle to expand and contract with more force. The treatment acts as an external pump. It relieves the exhausted heart's workload while training the cardiac muscle to squeeze effectively again. The rhythmic pressure from the cuffs changes the physical environment in the arteries, triggering a biological response. The increased pressure of the returning blood stimulates angiogenesis. The body begins to sprout new, microscopic blood vessels. This leads to collateralization. These newly grown vessels weave complex networks of smaller capillary pathways that bypass arterial blockages. The body is constructing a natural bypass. Oxygen-rich blood navigates the new routes, flooding previously starved tissue and revascularizing the muscle without a surgical incision. As the muscle receives consistent oxygen again, the heart's natural pumping capacity begins to return. The human body possesses the inherent biological capacity to rebuild its own infrastructure when provided with the correct mechanical stimulus. ECP builds the new vascular infrastructure, but keeping those microscopic vessels open and clear requires a specific internal environment. This is why the recovery protocol incorporates 5 specific pillars. A targeted diet prevents new plaque from choking off these fresh capillaries, while meditation and exercise lower the arterial stress and cortisol that would otherwise constrict them. True restoration happens when the systemic conditions of the body, from nutrition to stress levels, match the mechanical improvements made to the heart. The clinical application of this 5-pillar protocol provides an alternative for patients facing end-stage heart failure. Consider a patient who have been advised to prepare for an imminent heart transplant after standard medical management failed to improve his condition. His starting condition was severe. His intrinsic pumping capacity was between 10 and 25%, leaving him bedridden and struggling for breath. This visualization shows his trajectory. After undergoing the holistic ECP protocol, his recovery curve climbed and eventually stabilized at a 45 to 50% pumping capacity. 8 years later, he remains symptom-free. He avoided the transplant and currently works in manual farming. His outcome is one of thousands. Patients with extremely low cardiac output have used this pathway to reverse angina and reclaim their stamina. A diagnosis of severe heart failure does not mandate a future of invasive surgery. Long-term recovery is possible by actively rebuilding the heart's tower, rather than just managing its decline.